Hey guys, it's Oluvids, and today we're going to be talking about the OG Keyblade dual wielder, Roxas. And each of us are going to be saying what our favorite Roxas scene is in the entire series, and we'll join the rest of the collection that I have in terms of the One Heartfelt Moment. If you didn't end up in this video, definitely leave a comment down below, and we're going to be going through submissions on Twitter and YouTube, and we'll be going through what everyone said, and then at the end we'll go over what my favorite scene is. So anyway, let's start off over on Twitter. So over on Twitter, our first one is from Mocha, or Mocha and Chill. They say, I can't pick a favorite scene because it's my favorite character, and I love every scene with him in it. I think an important scene is the part of the Days game at Beast Castle when he first learns that love is a thing and begins to question it. Alright, so yeah, I'm pretty sure this is probably going to be exclusive to the DS version of 358 by 2 days, but you do get to go to Beast Castle in that game, and I don't specifically remember that scene exactly, but it's always nice to see people put DS scenes from Days. And of course, throughout the entire game, Roxas is learning about life because he is born. He doesn't have his own memories. He wasn't a somebody. His somebody is Sora, which is a separate entity from him. So he doesn't really know any of these concepts: friends, love, ice cream. He doesn't know what any of these things are. So he's really learning about everything. And yeah, there's just one of many things. Thank you for that submission. Next, we got Lunabelle, and they say, the scene in Days where Roxas really begins questioning his place in the organization, or at least expresses it out loud. This is around when he's placing these devices. There's around the world as they're placing these devices in the DS version of Days. And so after he does it in Agrabah, he's just wondering like why he's doing this. What is he even doing with his life? You know, they're not really telling him why he's putting these machines down. They're just telling him to do it, and they're leaving him in the dark. And he's just like, okay, why? For one, why am I the only one who's in the dark? Two, why are they leaving me in the dark? And what's the whole purpose of all this? You know, before they're doing recon missions, getting hearts, but now they're doing all these weird extra stuff, and he doesn't know if it has to do with Shion or whatever, or maybe it's about himself. They don't know why, but when they start keeping secrets from him, that's when he's really starting to question like what's going on and why they're doing certain things. Thank you for that submission. And next we got JJ, and he says, enough said, and put a picture of Roxas, Shion, and Axel chilling out on the tower, eating ice cream, because they are best friends. Yeah, I mean, they had a lot of these scenes. It's not really a specific one, but it's always nice just seeing them chill out. But yeah, this was probably the happiest point in Roxas well, maybe not Axel, but this is definitely the happiest point in Roxas and Shion's life, because they were just chilling out. You know, they had kind of a routine. Did their work. After that, they chilled out in the clock tower. Everyone met up there. They ate ice cream. They chilled out. It was pretty nice. The clock tower scenes are always really good. Thank you for that submission. Next, we have That Nobody Daleks, the #1 Roxas fanboy. And he says, his Kingdom Hearts 3 entrance, because he came in ready to destroy anyone who got in his way. And yeah, no, that was a pretty big moment where he came, and, you know, all hope was lost, and then he came down, took his head off, had his 2 Keyblades, and it was over for them. He hasn't really been out in the outside world for a while, and now he's finally back, and he's ready to save his friends from Xemnas and Psyx, which is like directly his 2 enemies they had to fight. One was like his manager, and the other one is his boss. So he's saving his friends from his boss and his manager. So, I mean, really cool moment. And the music as well. The music for him coming back, and the music for when you're fighting. You got like Vectors to the Heavens and Other Promise, like a cool mix of them at the same time. That was really cool. The whole Roxas thing, I mean, I don't think anyone dislikes the Roxas part. Thank you for that submission. Next we got Roku Rozu, and they say, the second half Recoded was a hit for me. I think that game solidified the fact that Roxas had feelings and a heart. He does know hurt, like I said in the comments. He knows hurt. And yeah, Roxas is the one that like is teaching Sora about sorrow and pain, and as Kingdom Hearts like to say, hurt. That pushes Sora to realize that he can carry on. Even with despite having the pain, he could carry on. And he'd rather hold on to that pain than forget everyone and all his experiences and all that. Even though he's just Data, like Data Roxas is just like stressed when he starts hearing Sora be okay with it. And yeah, like it's a pretty cool scene, and it was a pretty cool boss fight in the DS version. You got to actually fight Roxas because it was an actual game on the DS. But yeah, I'm glad to see a Recoded submission because Recoded is really good. I don't care what anyone says. That's it for Twitter. So next we're gonna have to go over to the YouTube submissions. Okay, so over to the YouTube submissions. Next we got Thunder of Dark Cloud. That's our first one for here. And he says, for me, it's 3 favorite scenes. I can't really pick between them. One is from Chain of Memories. It's actually from 358 by 2 days, but yeah. When he was watching Shion die in his arms, the scene was so emotional. Two would have to be his heart and Axel's, I suppose, sitting atop of the clock tower and having those ice creams for the last time, and having one final conversation before saying goodbye. And finally, we come to Roxas showing up in Keyblade Graveyard in Kingdom Hearts 3 with the line, "Hands off my friends." I knew it was him before he even spoke, but man, how cool was it that he just came out thundering like Thor from Infinity War. He did do the Thor from Infinity War. Everyone was, all hope was lost, and he came beaming down, and was like, all right, it's time. Let's do this. And yeah, no, okay, so let me actually go through them. I skipped to the third one. But, of course, him watching Xion die, very sad scene, very emotional. We went over it a lot. I'm pretty sure, I know we must have already went over it in the Xion video. I'll probably have a card up, but very sad scene. Also, he says who else will have ice cream with, so of course that's a top tier memorable Kingdom Hearts scene. But yeah, I mean, in that fight, he literally kills his best friend, or one of his best friends. So, I mean, in any story, that would be pretty sad, right? And then he starts to forget her as she's dying, which is an extra layer of Kingdom Hearts, addition to the story. And then he talks about Roxas and Axel's goodbye when, Kingdom Hearts 2, when their hearts were departing. Yeah, that was a cool addition. I'm pretty sure that was a final mix edition. They're getting to have their final goodbye because, originally the last time Roxas saw Axel was like when he kind of remembered him but didn't fully know. But this one, it's like, okay, we get to have their goodbye with Roxas fully remembering everything, and they get to have a proper goodbye, and it was always pretty nice. And then lastly, okay, Roxas coming back in Keyblade Graveyard. Okay, I kind of talked about that one first, but yeah, really cool scene. As I said before, really fun to play as in the Remind version. And it was like a grand return because they were hyping Roxas returning up for the entire game, for all of Kingdom Hearts 3. It was a cool moment. It was worth it. And having Roxas back is always really cool because I think Roxas is a fan favorite character, including for me. Roxas is always one of my favorites. Alright, next we have JLo Beans, and they say, I love when Roxas is fighting Riku and he says, I'm me and nobody else. This line represents the sadness and sorrow in Roxas' heart. As for a whole year, he has been told what he should be, what he should do, and who to be loyal to. He may be the nobody of sorrow, but he will always 100% be himself. He was right when he said that. Back around that time when that scene first came out, obviously the whole thing was, no, you're not you, you're Sora, but he was right, he is himself. It's just no one else gave him the chance to be himself. It was a pretty cool fight, either Kingdom Hearts 2 version or the Days version, which is the extended version. Cool fight and good moment. Next we have Albert Santolo Jr., I believe that's how it's said. And they say, any scene where he's with Xion, or the famous hands off my friends. Yes, I ship Roxas with Xion the most. The best moment in Kingdom Hearts 3 is his introduction. He famously saved Xion, Axel, Sora, and Kairi from his old nemesis, Xemnas. Roxas truly feels like a hero, and the moment where the music plays makes it emotional. It's so well done. In terms of the whole ship thing, I mean, yeah, I think Roxas and Xion is really the only way to go. In Kingdom Hearts 2, you can make a case for, like, Roxas and Naminé, but that was before Xion existed, so I don't think really you need to do Roxas and Naminé. If they were to do one, I think Roxas and Xion makes more sense to do. But in terms of, I mean, we already talked about it. Really good scene. Old nemesis Xemnas. Yeah, and he didn't just save Axel and Xion. It was also Sora and Kairi as well. So, big moment. Yeah, he was a hero. He came and saved them, which is awesome. Next, we have Luke Delameter, and he says, I love everything about this man, but one standout moment comes to mind is when he leaves the organization in Days, and we get the boss fight with Saïx. We don't accept resignations. I've got nothing to say to you. Then let's keep this short and sweet. Yeah, so that level was actually really cool. You were going through the world that never was, the castle, and fighting nobodies until you eventually run into Saïx, and you got to do a boss fight. And I do remember that line. We don't accept resignations. I remember that line specifically, and really cool fight. Like Saïx is like, okay, I'm about to kill you since you're quitting. There was no quitting. You either work for us or you die. Saïx in this game is pretty much like your manager, so it's like you have a boss fight against your manager. Like you're telling your manager you quit, and the manager's like, no, and you gotta fight him. It's pretty funny when you think about it that way. Roxas actually wins. He beats Saïx and leaves. He walks out, and Saïx can't do a thing about it because Roxas is just that guy. But anyway, and also a fun fact, I believe he actually turns into anti-Saïx if you go fight him in mission mode. Random fun fact. This had nothing to do with that, but yeah, really cool moment, really good scene, and really good boss fight. Yeah, thank you for that submission. Next we got Iglis Flame-YT, and he says, when I started my senior year of high school this year, this line, looks like my summer vacation is over, hit hard. Another one of my favorites is probably in Kingdom Hearts 2 when Roxas talks to Axel after being defeated by Sora, and he says Sora will find the answer we're looking for. I know he will, because he's me. And so yeah, the summer vacation line is always a pretty hard-hitting one, especially when you're in school. And especially sad scene for Roxas, because he realizes all the stuff he's doing right now, the stuff just hanging out with his friends and all that, is coming to an end. In terms of Roxas saying that, you know, I know you will because it's me, like you'll find the answer. I always like that because while of course nowadays Roxas is his own guy, I still really like the idea that they're kind of both two halves of the same coin. Roxas and Sora would probably be really trusting one another, and they just really understand one another because they are kind of the same person and they've seen all each other's memories. So he completely has 100% faith in them because, you know, he is his other half. He's just somebody, and he even said that he makes a good other. So he trusts Sora, and it's always nice to see that. So thank you for that submission. Next we have the following one. As always, Lisa and Lemmings coming in. They say moments with Axel and Xion, Roxas nominated in KH2, Roxas and Sora recoded, KH3 when Sora feels and sees Roxas' memories. I think that was actually Dream Drop Distance, yeah. Roxas, Xion. Okay, well no, it was a little bit in 3. Anyway, Roxas, Xion, and Axel reunited. All around really good scenes. And so we get over to what my favorite scene is, or what I think the best Roxas scene is. And it might be because I was recently watching it again, but I was going through the Data Twilight Town section in Kingdom Hearts 2 the beginning, and I can't, yeah, I wish I could put the entire section, but that would break my own rules. I can't put the whole section, so I'm gonna keep it to the Day 5 conversation between Roxas and Naminé. So assuming you're playing Kingdom Hearts 2 and you haven't played Days or anything like that, you don't really know much about Roxas. You're in the same boat as he is. He's just a normal kid in Twilight Town doing whatever he does, you know. But then, you know, as he says, I don't know what's going on lately, and weird things are happening. And at the beginning of the scene, when Naminé is like asking if he wants to know more about himself, he's like, no one knows me more than me. And slowly throughout the scene, as it goes on, he slowly just starts to realize that things are not what it seems like for him, and he really doesn't know what's going on. And later on, he even says, like, I'm starting to feel like I don't know myself at all now, and then he does want to know. And then she goes in and is like, yeah, you weren't supposed to exist. It's just, I'm saying it in a weird way. I'm explaining it in a weird way, but you should know what I'm talking about. Generally, just the scene where he first starts talking to Naminé, and this is like the first person who knows the real Roxas that isn't like trying to kill him or isn't yelling at him, so he really gets to sit down and just talk and just figure out what's going on. Not only that, I also liked where, you know, he's seeing the drawings and he's like, oh yeah, Sora, Donald, and Goofy, they're from the dreams and all that, because he's been having dreams of the Kingdom Hearts 1 adventure, you know, so he knows what's going on. He knows Sora, he knows Donald and Goofy. He's like, oh yeah, I know them. Oh wait, they're real, you know. And in general, it's a really good scene within the context of Kingdom Hearts. Even if you take it in a bubble, like without Days or anything, just with Kingdom Hearts 2, it really gets you, the whole section, honestly, the whole Twilight Town section really gets you to care for Roxas and kind of understand what he's been through and what he's going through, and it makes you feel bad for him. I'm also thinking, like, imagine if you're just going about your life and then some weird things just start happening, and then suddenly someone comes in and is like, yeah, so you're only half of you, and the other guy, some random guy you don't know, says some random name, is your other half. You need to join with him, and also you weren't supposed to exist. So yeah. So yeah, thank you all for your submissions. The Roxas video. Roxas is a really good character, really fun, and honestly, he has a lot of really good scenes. Like, I think a good chunk of his scenes could be someone's favorite scene, and he has a lot of really good moments. I do hope we get to see more of him. I don't personally know what like he's gonna do now, like what would be good for him to do in terms of the story, outside of just looking for Sora, but I do hope we see more of him. And yeah. So anyway, thank you guys for watching. Leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed. Also click the bell to get notifications for the videos. I haven't really been saying that, but you should, because by now we know that like sometimes YouTube doesn't show the videos if you're subscribed, that is. Anyway, yeah, so thank you guys for watching, and I'll be seeing you guys next time.